Welcome to another video. This morning I woke up and one of the headlines I saw was that Cole Beasley, wide receiver for the Buffalo Bills, refuses to get the COVID-19 vaccine, which is affecting his ability to participate in the OTAs this summer. So he releases a statement last night on Twitter and he says that he's not vaccinated and he pledges to, quote, live my one life like I want to regardless. I'll be outside doing what I do, he wrote. I'll be out in public. If you're scared of me, then steer clear or get vaccinated. I may die of COVID, but I'd rather die actually living. I'm not going to take meds for a leg that isn't broken. Okay, so there's a difference between prophylaxis or preventative medicine and therapeutic medicine or treatment. Well, that's where we get into preventative medicine. That's prophylaxis. That's what this vaccine is all about. It's preventing the bad outcome from happening in the first place. I'd rather take my chances with COVID and build my immunity that way. That doesn't make sense. I want to get the disease in order to prevent the disease. Then he goes to talk about being healthy and doing what he can to make himself as healthy as possible to help reduce his chances of getting severe COVID. He's referring to building up his immunity, exercising, drinking water, eating healthy, all great. And most likely you do these things and your chances of having bad outcome from COVID are drastically reduced. We know that, for example, obesity, high blood pressure, having diabetes, being a smoker, all these risk factors, of course, older age and also type A blood is a risk factor for having bad outcome of COVID. But all of those things that you can control, granted, you can't control age, you can't control your blood type, but exercising, eating healthy, getting good sleep are all very important. If you do those things, you're less likely to have a bad outcome from COVID. The chances of him having a bad outcome overall, very, very small. However, when you compare that to the chances of something bad happening as a result of these mRNA vaccines with Pfizer or Moderna, it's way smaller than that. So you're looking at very small and incredibly small. So what happened is Beasley took to Twitter hours after he said that he spoke with the NFLPA soon after complaining about its jointly agreed to policy with the NFL regarding COVID-19 protocols. The policy, which applies to training camp and the preseason, heavily restricts unvaccinated players while allowing vaccinated players to return to near normalcy, which made Beasley question Thursday by means of his Twitter account, will anyone fight for the players? So what is the big issue with the policy? So the notable differences in the new policy include no daily COVID testing for the vaccinated players, who will also no longer be required to wear masks at team facilities or during team travel. So the vaccinated players will have no travel restrictions and they can use the sauna steam room and weight room without capacity limits and can interact with vaccinated friends and family during team travel. Unvaccinated players will be required to test for COVID-19 every day and must wear masks throughout the team facility and during travel. They will not be allowed to use the sauna steam rooms, and they're subject to weight room capacity limits and may not leave the team hotel to eat in restaurants or interact with anyone outside of the team traveling. What they're saying is perhaps the biggest difference is that for unvaccinated players, they'll be required to quarantine after high-risk exposure to COVID-19, while vaccinated players will not. So really what it comes down to is it's kind of a pain in the ass for people who are not vaccinated, while it's not so much a pain in the ass for people who are vaccinated. And this is one of the reasons why Cole Beasley really has an issue with this. But I don't get why Cole Beasley is refusing to get the vaccine. He says it's for personal reasons, but he doesn't have a reason for it. And now there's all sorts of reasons why people don't want to get the vaccine. I have patients in my clinic, some of them don't want to get the vaccine. My own mom doesn't want to get the vaccine. She's a very religious person and she has her beliefs. There's really only one valid medical reason why someone shouldn't get the vaccine, is if they're not in the category who's eligible. So basically young kids are not eligible to get the vaccine right now. But outside of that, if someone has a severe allergy history when it comes to getting a vaccine, more particularly if they have an allergic reaction or have had an allergic reaction to some of the components of the vaccine. Now that could be a legit medical reason for not getting the vaccine. But outside of that, there's no real legit medical reason for not getting these mRNA vaccines when it comes to the Pfizer and the Moderna. There have been millions of people who've been vaccinated and it's incredibly rare for anything bad to happen. There's been several cases of people having allergic reactions where they went to the ER, and then in the ER, they got treated for the allergic reaction. They didn't require going to the intensive care unit with a breathing tube put down their throat. No one died as a result of anaphylaxis or severe allergic reaction from these mRNA vaccines. I myself had the Pfizer vaccine, other than a sore arm after the first one. There's nothing else that I had. After the second one, it is more common to have side effects after the second vaccine. I did have I felt very tired, I felt very weak, I had some fevers and chills, although my temperature was only 99. I also felt achy. I ended up going to bed after taking some ibuprofen, and then the next morning I felt fine. A lot of people say, well, so what? He doesn't want the vaccine. He is taking that risk on himself. But if others have had the vaccine, then they shouldn't have anything to worry about. And while that is true, that's not the full story, because what's going to happen is you're going to have these other variants of the coronavirus, for example, like the Delta variant of the coronavirus, which originated in India. It's all across the globe now. It's in the United States. Not only does it spread easier, but it's thought to be more infectious, more dangerous. Over time, that has the potential to overcome those who are vaccinated. So it could be that over time, these vaccines, they work for a little while, but because we don't reach that herd immunity, this virus never goes away. That virus keeps mutating, it keeps adapting, and eventually is able to overcome those who are vaccinated. The other aspect of not getting herd immunity is for those who can't get the vaccine, like children, at least as of right now, then you're making them more prone to this virus. And some will counter with, well, kids don't get sick from this virus. And that's not true. They're less likely to get sick, but it's not 100% true where they can't get sick from this virus. When it comes to football, the way that I see it, it's a team game. You have 53 guys who make the final roster. Everyone should be on board getting the vaccine. When you start saying that you refuse to get the vaccine and you don't have a valid medical reason not to get it, that's really putting yourself before the team, and that's selfish in my opinion. So anyway, that's it for this video. I am now going to go work out myself and stay healthy. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.